Jesus saves. Jesus saves. Are you serious? What? What's going on over here in Afghanistan with this situation? With the burning of the Korans? Okay, let's face it. 60 or 70 Korans were burnt at the base there in Afghanistan. Okay, the Air Force base there. And it shouldn't have happened. And as a matter of fact, there's been an apology by the NATO commander, General John R. Allen. He's already issued an apology for the burning. And the level-headed people of the world understand that. It shouldn't have happened. It's ignorance that it happened. It should not have happened. But as soon as the U.S. discovered that it had happened, they contacted the locals there in Afghanistan, excuse me, and said, look, there's been a mistake. And we've got some Korans that got burned in this huge garbage pile. Now, some of them are not, they're charred. Some of them are still salvageable. We want to treat this respectful. And they contacted the religious leaders of our Afghanistan and said, how can we make that happen? Well, what you got to understand is there's still serious radical Islamic jihadists among the Afghani people, even though the Taliban has been crushed. And I mean their head has been crushed. There is still resentment and radical philosophy and theology among the Islamic people. Not all people. And so want to cooperate in a manner that makes sense. So what's going on? Thousands of Afghanistan people are protesting as we speak outside of the Air Force base there in Kabul, the main U.S. military base at the Bagram Air Base. The local laborers found out that NATO personnel had been burning Korans at the base, with news of the protests still coming in from MSNBC and reporting that the base now has 2,000 to 3,000 protesters. It's even larger than that now, folks. It's more closer to 5,000 outside of the base. They are demonstrators. They are chanting death to the foreigners. Die, 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 foreigners. They're shooting guns into the air. There's slingshots. Hey, look, it's starting to get ugly. Now, the United States of America, or the NATO forces, have to squelch this, and they need to do it soon. It's being reported the incidence is growing by MSNBC and the New York Times. The Korans remained, So, NATO Commander General John R. Allen has already issued an apology for the burning. He says that it was improperly disposal of large numbers of Islamic religious materials, which included some Korans. We're hearing about 60 to 70 Korans. Allen said, referring to NATO's International Security Assistance Force. The New York Times reports that, the disposal was mishandled. This wasn't a good situation. And now it's getting uglier and uglier. And you got to understand something. It doesn't take much for the radical Islamic jihadist Muslims to get upset. I mean, a simple cartoon portraying Allah in a light they didn't like has created worldwide outrage and death threats beyond your ability to dream upon the artist who did that. I mean, when Allah had a cameo appearance on South Park, people freaked completely out. What? But it's okay to take Jesus and, put him, portray him in feces or upside down on a cross in a bottle of urine or whatever else. You can do whatever. You can burn as many Bibles as you want to. Nobody seems to care about that. But if you dare mess up with the Quran, and in this case, then this is going to get ugly. And here's the thing about it. We need to pray, folks, because this is going to get real ugly. And the last thing you need when you're trying to exit out of a country is to have this type of situation developing. And so, look, say you're sorry, and go out again and say you're sorry. Sit down with the religious leaders, help figure out a way to do a proper correction of this and disposal of this. Do it according to the religious practices there. Quiet this thing down. But go out there and shut down this demonstration. Put an end to it. I don't think it's... Look, these people... This is ugly. It's going to get ugly. It's going to get real ugly. And actually, potentially threatening the lives of some of the soldiers that are still there. This thing's supposed to be winding down. Let's get this thing fixed. What's going on? And I want to ask the President of the United States, and I know he's busy with a lot of things. I'm not blaming this on him at all. But he can't go away and, hang out and sing with Mick Jagger at the White House. He's got to deal with this. You don't understand. Folks, you just don't understand the anger that can build within radical jihadists. As a Christian, you're considered an infidel just because you're a Christian. You have to understand, 60 to 70 Qurans being burned and thrown into a pile of garbage is going to excite. They don't need much to get excited. It don't take much. What? Sharia law is very oppressive. Their women can barely raise their head. You got to understand. This is the beginning. This is not over. You go back in a week from now, come back and watch this video, make your comments. You think this thing's over? This is going to get uglier and uglier. And the only thing that can drive it back is, of course, a little bit more stiffer resistance. Say you're sorry, say you're sorry, say you're sorry, then send people home. Okay? Because look, the Taliban, that's all they needed was this little, they can, and everybody's going to, it's going to get ugly. You got to drive them back home and say, look, we're sorry, we're definitely sorry. How can we help build up your infrastructure? Do you guys need some new electricity? How about a new well or two? What can we do? We've investigated the people involved in this happening. We are going to deal with them internally here. We're going to take care of this. We want to properly dispose of these Qurans with your personnel here, your religious leaders. But look, it's over, guys. Go home. Go home and take control of this situation. It's no different than the hatred that's been coming against us continuously. So you have to do that. I'm not being mean here. I'm just being practical. You got to put this down. Do not let the entire Middle East blow up over this. You've already got Iran running around threatening Israel every day. You don't let this get out of hand. Don't be soft on this. We messed up, but fix it. And fix it means stop the protesting and the gathering outside your gates. Put it into it. Send them home. Okay? Send them home. Because if you don't, this thing will spread beyond Afghanistan. You'll start seeing these protests at U.S. embassies around the entire Middle East, and then you've got a problem. You deal with these issues a little stronger than you would even like to, but if you will, you can put an end to that quickly. You got bigger problems going on in Syria. You got bigger problems going on. Let's not get off track because of a few copies of the Quran. I'm Paul Begley. Pray for the people there. Pray they need salvation. Pray we need to get out of there. I keep saying, let's get out of the war. Let's get out of there. Squelch this down and then let's get out of there. It's just not that hard. It really isn't. Okay. I'll be back. We got more to talk about. Just calm down. You gotta put an end to this. Don't let this... What I'm trying to say is I understand the emotions, okay? So let's properly deal with it. But then once you've done that, then you tell the rest of the people, go home. Do not allow this to fester into an entire Middle East riot against America. You have to calm this down. I'll be right back. We got a lot to talk about in Jesus' name. That's why you got to get... I'm telling you folks, you got to get saved because these things it's getting ugly out there. It's getting ugly out.